Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang. Welcome to Hope for Good Health. And I'd like to talk to you today about a patient that I saw who was a new patient and was generally somebody that was very interested in a natural approach to her health problems, even though she did have a few serious health problems. And one of the things that came out during our discussion was that she wasn't taking any vitamin D. Now, we live in a part of the country where it's not possible to make enough vitamin D even if you spend every available moment out in the sun, because more than half the year it's too cold to spend time out in the sun, even if the sun was shining. And so most of the people that I've measured vitamin D levels on here are profoundly low. And so I reminded her that even though she wanted to handle things naturally, there's not a so-called natural way to get your vitamin D if you don't have access to sun exposure, unless you're going to buy a tanning bed for your home use, which there's a lot of reasons why that would be an issue that would require a lot of discussion. So the point is, it's better that she take the vitamin D to make sure she's got the vitamin D. Now, how much should she take? At least 5,000 units. And I reminded her that the research during and after the worst of the COVID epidemic showed that people who are at the high normal of vitamin D intake had virtual 100% protection against dying from COVID. And most folks were basically kept them out of the hospital. So the vitamin D is a critical player when it comes to protecting your body against viral infections, especially COVID. Now, one of the things to know about vitamin D, though, is that it does about 100 things in the body. One of those things is that it helps your body to absorb calcium from the food, to extract calcium from the food much, much more efficiently. So you create a new problem once you fix the vitamin D deficiency problem in most cases. And that new problem is, where is the body going to put this calcium? Because over 90% of people in the United States are deficient in vitamin K2. So vitamin K2 is a critical nutrient. Unfortunately, in the United States, it's not talked about very much. It does very profoundly important things for the body. It helps the body to build strong bones. It's critical for building bones. It's critical for healthy teeth. It's also critical to help your body protect the arteries from becoming calcified. So-called hardening of the arteries is a process of calcification of those arteries. And when you have sufficient vitamin K2, your body's protected against this happening. And there's a lot of other things that the vitamin K2 tells the body to do to keep the wrong tissue from getting calcified. And so just think about people that have all sorts of problems with calcium deposits where they don't belong, and vitamin K2 is the major player there. So when you start vitamin D supplementation, it's important that you start vitamin K2 supplementation. Now, which vitamin K2? Well, I believe that the evidence is very strong that it should be both MK4 and MK7 versions. So there are actually 9 different subtypes of vitamin K2, and most of the people that talk about vitamin K2 recommend just supplementing the MK7 version. There's a lot of reasons why I think we should supplement both versions. It's easy to do, and I think that the people that focus on MK7 are making a big mistake, and I won't go into all the details, but I will just say a couple things. Breast milk has MK4 in it, and so if we are made to extract our vitamin K2 as babies from breast milk, and it's the MK4 version, there's probably a reason that it's still important for us as an adult. So the point is, when you start vitamin D, you should also be taking vitamin K2 so that your body knows where to put the calcium that is going to be coming into the body in much higher amounts than before. And this is a much more complicated subject. I just want to make sure that as I recommend the vitamin D, that people remember to take the K2. And I'm not going to get into how much and all that stuff because it's a very complicated subject once you start getting into dosing for the K2. But the point is, both MK4 and MK7 are subtypes that can be supplemented. I recommend that you find a supplement that has both of them in it. And in addition to the vitamin D being at least 5,000 units, the other reason vitamin D is so critical is that it's a strong signaling molecule when it comes to how the DNA expresses its anti-cancer properties. And so high levels of vitamin D are protective for both breast cancer and prostate cancer. So both men and women have a significant cancer benefit when they are taking vitamin D at sufficient amounts that also protect you against viral infections. So don't forget the vitamin D. It's not natural to be deficient. I wish you well, God bless, and have a good day.